for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads. Got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really doubt it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And kinda got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres here on this Thursday. May the 4th be with you. I would love to give you guys some very clever Star Wars puns, as this is kind of a big day, but I'll be honest with you. I've never seen one single Star Wars movie. So I don't know any. I can't give you any. I know I know the bare minimum for the pop culture references, and even at that, I'm kind of behind. Yeah, I'm one of the few, I think, that hasn't necessarily watched the Star Wars. I've never seen a single one of them. I most of those big series I actually have not seen. So I pride myself on my culture, my pop culture understanding and knowledge, and there are huge series out there that I've never seen. Never watched a single episode of Star Trek. Never seen a single movie. Yeah. So those are the ones that always come back and get me. But here we are, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I know enough to know that you know that I think it's Yoda is the one who says like May the Force be with you. So it's a play on words. Anyway, that's today. We're already starting this show off awesome. So I am looking forward to today because today's show, for the first time here on the 440 Sports Show, we're going to talk a little bit about track. We're going to dive into some track results. We recently had the all-county meet. This one hosted by Grand Valley. They held the all-county meet out there, which is a great kind of singular area to kind of catch everybody in there. And we're going to talk about the results, and I'm going to do my very best to get through. Shout out to milesplit.com. It looks like that's the place where they kind of go they go out there and put everything, you know, there, and makes it easier for me to find. I can tell you that much. So that's what we're on. We got a couple records get broken out there. I do know that Bobby Rogers breaks the school record, which was held by himself over at Grand Valley in the high jump. For those of you who followed during football, I gave him the nickname of Grasshopper because of his leaping ability, and it looks as if that's going to continue. I believe Nate Boyarski over at Grand Valley also broke a record for his school. Jefferson has had a huge year in track this year. Getting a chance to talk to Coach TJ Furman, you know, he talked a lot about, you know, how the numbers, let me double check here. All right, yeah. So he got a chance. He talked about kind of the numbers for Jefferson this year on the track side and how they're kind of on the lower end. But even with lower numbers, you're going to see it when we go through these results here in just a minute. The ones that are out there are performing, and it's really no coincidence that the ones that are out there performing are the same ones you see performing on the basketball court, the football field, the softball fields, or excuse me, the volleyball courts, those sort of things. It's these multi-sport athletes, and for one, and I'm not sure if that's the case this year, but I always give a huge amount of credit to the kid, Nate Boyarsky there at Grand Valley. He's one of the few guys I've ever seen that is multi-sport during the same season. I can remember last year, as we went out to Grand Valley and covered a frigid, I mean, absolutely frigid triple header out there, ice cold. Watching him come midway through Grand Valley's first game in his track uniform and throw the baseball uniform on top, go out there and play baseball after running in the track meet for most of the morning. And that's just, you talk about like, man, the crazy ability. I don't know that I've seen anybody else do anything like that, competing in two sports simultaneously in the same season. And at such a high level at that, like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But let me bring this up here. Here we are. Again, like I said, Miles Split, Ohio. I'm really thankful for them. It's going to give me a chance for the first time this year to kind of dive into track and field. It's an awesome sport, and it's not really covered as much as baseball, but I can tell you that one of the biggest reasons is track. And you're going to see when we go through all of these events, it really requires like a 3, maybe even a 4-man team to kind of get everything. There's a lot of events that are happening simultaneously. It's an event that kind of covers on the whole field and other parts of the field that aren't there. And there's just kind of a lot going on. So, riding solo right now, it's really difficult, but it's something that, in the future, we're hoping to kind of get more of a push. I will always do my best to report these achievements, to make sure that, even if I'm not there, even if we're not there, providing the broadcast and those sort of things, we want to push out your achievements and that sort of thing. I did push out a status last night on Facebook, just kind of reminding parents, schools, that sort of thing, particularly the school systems, as every school now, it looks like their teams kind of have their own pages, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or various social media. Don't forget to tag us, because there's a lot of schools that do, and I appreciate them. It makes it easy for me to kind of share. I want to make sure that we are sharing the achievements of these athletes. Things get overlooked sometimes, and it's really, it's not on purpose, but I can't live on Facebook. So as I'm scrolling through and I do check multiple times a day, as I see these achievements and all these different milestones that are hit, I do my very best to go out there and share them for everybody. There's no school that gets more love than any school. As far as I'm concerned, especially up here, this is Beulah County, like the song says. I want to push everybody forward. So just remember, tag the 440 Sports Show when things come up. As long as I see it and I get there in a timely fashion, I'll make sure I get it shared out there so everybody can kind of see and applaud the achievements of these athletes. But let's get into some of these results. Again, I'm super excited about this because I wanted to kind of dip my toes into track. And what better way to start here on the show than with the Ashtabula Beulah All-County meet. Again, this one is hosted over there at Grand Valley High School, and what a great job they did this year. So for the 4 by 800 meter relay, this year, your winner is going to be Geneva in first place with time of 10:56.23. Behind them, and I think the craziest thing when I look at this is it looks like Geneva wins by almost 2 minutes, which I don't know much about the 800, but I feel like that's a lot. So it feels like a dominant win for Geneva. PV behind them, though, 12:19.34, and Cognac coming in third. 12:27. I'm not going to read them all because there is a ton, an absolute ton of these today. So, yeah, let's try that. That might be a little bit easier. Over here on the 4 by 800 meter relay for the boys, your winner this year, Ashtabula Edgewood, with a 9:10.30 mark. And again, here's another one, 10 seconds the difference. If anybody out there watching right now is a track person, particularly a long distance track person, jump in here. Let me know if these are normal times, if these are the typical, I guess, splits you would see. I look at a huge number here, like 10 seconds in the 800 meter relay. I don't know if that is a dominant win or if that's just kind of the normal stuff you see. Like I said, I'd love your input. If you're on here and you are a person who participates in track, a parent of a track athlete or a track coach, please give me your input. I'd love to hear it. Conneaut coming in second, 9:21.29, and Geneva 9:21.68. Now there's the differences that I expect to see when I look at a track, a race. When I look at a race is where you're talking, tenths of seconds as the difference between the teams. Grand Valley, Jefferson, and Pymatuning Valley rounding out 4, 5, and 6 there. Girls 100 meter hurdles is Jenkins Rowan from PV, who's going to win with a time of 17:95. Behind her, Gianna DeLuca from Geneva is 18:16, and Alexis Howell of Geneva with 18:33. Jelena Torrance of Lakeside, she's a junior, 18:40 in fourth. 110 meter hurdles. And here's a name that we've called out on this show before. Wyatt Payne from Conneaut. Wyatt Payne goes 16:76 on the hurdles, and he's going to win the 110 meter hurdles by almost 2 seconds. And I do know. That I do know is a pretty big time. But Wyatt Payne is a lightning fast runner. You talk about somebody that I think Conneaut football coach Rocco Dobrin, I'm sure is really, really happy with this kid and how much work he's done in the offseason to get faster. Brandon Teeter coming in second there with 18:03 as his time. And in third place, Lakeside's Brian Lopez with 18:21 as his final time there. Jamil Douglas from Geneva coming in fourth, 19:12. Moving on here, we're going to go into the girls 100 meter dash. And this is one I do know a decent amount about. As with the 2 years I ran track, this was the only race I think I could finish. Right here, you got Jefferson's Holly Pierce on the top, 13:76. Allison Scola from Geneva with a 13:93. Honesty Anderson, who's only a sophomore at Lakeside, with a 14.17. And Reagan Boyarski coming in fourth there from Grand Valley, 14.22. Here in the boys, and this one ain't no big difference here. These guys are separated by a couple tenths of a second. But you look, the top two runners in this year's county meet are both going to be Falcons. No surprise there. It's Cage Bozar, the sophomore, the really, really very talented sophomore that I think you're going to hear a lot about in this upcoming season. I can tell you right now, I know for a fact Coach Hanna has big time plans for this kid. And with a time of 11:49 on his 100 meter dash, that's a pretty fast time there. And I've heard that he's run faster than that. I do believe that weather played a part in this one. Grant Hitchcock coming out for Jefferson as well, 11:85 there for him. And then two Lakeside guys. So it's two Jefferson, two Lakeside guys. Demario Hanna, who is a junior with an 11.99, and then Devin Miller Jr. And this is a kid I want everybody to kind of just tuck the name away, because I think it's a kid whose name you're going to be hearing a lot more in the fall. Devin Miller Jr. from Lakeside running a 12.32. That kid is very, very fast. He's very football speed fast. A very talented young man, and he comes from a talented family. His father was incredible at football, so I'm really, really interested to see kind of where that journey is going to take him. The girls 4x200 meter relay finals. It's Geneva on top with a final time of 1:55.90. Lakeside coming in second with a time of 1:57.30. Ashtabula Edgewood is going to come in third there, 2:01.92. And PV coming in fourth there, 2:10.29. You look over on the boys' side of things, the 4x2 is going to go to Jefferson this year. Jefferson is going to go 1:38.49. You got Edgewood in second there, 1:39.56, just under a second separating those two teams. And then PV coming in 1:41.64 in third place, and Conneaut coming 1:48.36 there in fourth. This is the tough one, folks. This is where I'll tell you what, I don't know too much about it because God did not grant me with any sort of long distance running skills. It's a long race to watch. It's an even longer race to run. So shout out to these young men and young women who went out there for the long one, for the long ones, excuse me, because you don't, especially at track, you don't just run one of these things. Girls 1,600 meter is Maya Evangelista, from Geneva. The junior ends with a time of 5:48.68. You got Anna Steinley from Grand Valley, 5:54.32, and Jenkins Rowan from PV, 6:16.52. And we move over to the boys' side of things for the 1,600 meter run. You got Steven Sly from Jefferson, who's going to win 4:36.18. Geneva's Donnie Shimsky, the sophomore from the Eagles, 4:41.52. And then Grayson Hill from Ashtabula Edgewood going to come in third there, 4:53.10. Moving over here to the 4x100 meter relay. Jefferson is going to win this one. This is for the boys. Make sure I didn't skip the girls. I did. I'm sorry about that. All right. So here for the girls, 4x100 meter relay. It's Lakeside that's going to win this one. 55.57 for the Lakeside girls. Geneva coming in second, 55.91. Ashtabula Edgewood going to come in third in this one, 56.96 for the 4x100 meter relay. And for those of you who don't who don't watch track, the 4x100 meter relay is the shortest race in the relay. So it's an all out, like that final sprint you see at the end of the race. It's the entire race for this one. And it's really a very fast and very entertaining race to watch. Boys 4x100 meter relay. It's Jefferson on the top here, 46.33, with Geneva right behind them, 46.51, and Lakeside not far behind either as a 46.84. Not much separating the teams there, but Jefferson is going to come out on top. Like I said, Jefferson, remember, lower numbers this year, overall participation. But the guys and girls who have come out have really, really showed out. Looking here at the girls' 400 meter dash, it's Sydney Park from Geneva on top, 1:05.40. Excuse me. Caitlin McAllister from Edgewood, the junior there, is right behind her with 1:05.80. So this one comes right to the very, very end. And also Maddie Crooks right behind her, 1:07.10. Over here on the boys' side, you got Grant Hitchcock. There's a name. If you haven't heard that name on here, then you haven't watched. Grant Hitchcock, the senior from Jefferson, is going to win the county 400-meter dash. 52.61 is his winning time. Behind him, Kerry White from Lakeside, the junior, 53.38. And Dane Shepkowski. And if I got that wrong, I apologize. Let me know. He's going to come, the freshman from Geneva, 53.52. Over here on the girls' 300-meter hurdles, you got Jenkins Rowan from PV, who's going to win with a final time of 50.59. Jelena Torrance from Lakeside, she's going to go 51.16. And Addison Reese from Geneva, 54.27. And this is another one of those races that I'll be honest with you, I'm always very impressed. I'm always very, very impressed by the hurdlers, because the hurdles is probably the sorry, trying to get this right on the screen here. The hurdles, I'll be honest, is probably the most impressive race because it's the most intimidating. When you mess up in the hurdles, it hurts bad. It doesn't matter if you're on cinder, if you're on all-weather track, it doesn't matter. When you fall on the hurdles, and it's, especially in the 300-meter hurdles, so now you got to run a little bit of a longer way and jump over these things. With me and my daunting 5'3" stature, I look at those things. Those things may as well be 10 feet in the air. So shout out to all these kids who go out there, and I can promise you that everybody who's on these hurdles list has fallen on a hurdle, because I don't think that a hurdler exists in the world that hasn't fallen. But these are the kids who got back up, figured it out, and now look at their times. Here in the 300-meter, you got Wyatt Payne from Conneaut, who's going to come out on top, 43.80. He's a junior. Jamil Douglas, the sophomore from Geneva, 45.39. And Nick Keister from Ashtabula Edgewood, who's a sophomore, 45.86 for him. As we move down here to the girls' 800-meter run. And if I am not mistaken, and I probably am, I believe the 800-meter run is around the track 4 times, maybe? Or I think it's around the track 4 times. Anyway, it's a lot. I know that. It's a lot of running. Maggie Moon from Geneva is in first place there, 237.09. You got Mackenzie Lyons from Geneva, 241.53. Julia Hitchcock from Pymatuning Valley with a 250.65. And Kylie Porter coming in fourth with this one, 256.07. Over here on the boys' side of things, you got Donnie Shimsky on the top here. The sophomore from Geneva goes 203.18. Grandison Hill from Ashtabula Edgewood is going to go 211.64. And Fred Brainerd from Conneaut is going to go 213.42. Luke Sly from Jefferson, the freshman, goes 218.92. Moving along here, you got the girls' 200-meter dash. So still a short one, an all-out sprint for this one, and it's all Lakeside on this one. As they're going to win this one, Denasia Holly from Lakeside, the freshman, goes 29.26. Lily Grace Allenbach from Ashtabula Edgewood goes 29.42, so a tight one again here. And Holly Pierce from Jefferson, 29.53. And Delaney Morrison from Geneva goes 29.67. So I'm talking about all these girls were right there. A photo finish, really. And here we go over to the boys' 200-meter dash. And here's a name I don't think anybody is surprised by, as Connor Bolin goes out there and wins this one from Geneva, 22.07. Behind him, Owen Pfeiffer from Geneva, 23.85. Cage Bozar, the sophomore from Jefferson, 24.22. And Grant Hitchcock right behind him, 24.41. Really great race there. Heading over here, as I talk, I talked about the tenacity it takes to get through a 1600, but we double that. the 3,200 mile or 3,200 meter run here. And it's Grace Dubsky from Geneva who's going to come on top here. 12:41 even is her time. Tammy Liplin from Edgewood is going to go 12:54.70. Anna Steinley from Grand Valley goes 13:03. Addison Reese from Geneva going to round this out in fourth place with a 13.12. Not a senior in the bunch, all juniors and sophomores in that 3,200. As we head over to the boys side of it, you got boys 3,200 meter run, and it's Stephen Sly from Jefferson. The senior goes out with a time of 10:26.46. So he gets a lot of he's got some time after he finishes that one. As the second place from Geneva in Luke McKinney, that junior going to finish 10:48.94. Garrett Tracy from Edgewood is a freshman who's going to finish with a time of 10:52.56. And Mason Summers, the senior from Pymatuning Valley, 11:02.70. Again, man, shout out to these kids who run these long races, because I don't think people tune in very much for them either, because it's like watching a NASCAR race. I mean, they run around and around and around and around. And it's not one of those high action races where you're going to get immediate results. There's so much, while the rest of the track runners are playing checkers, these guys are playing chess. And, I just want to send a shout out to them because, boy, it's tough. Girls 4x400 meter relay. It's Geneva who's going to go on top here with a final time of 4:31.50. Ashtabula Edgewood 4.34.25. .25 here. They're coming in second. Pymatuning Valley with a time of 5:03.76 in third, and Jefferson coming in 5:25.26 in fourth. Moving right along here. The boys 4x400. Geneva coming out on top in this one again, and it's 3:34.36. Jefferson coming in second. 3:44.78 with Conneaut, with a 3:45 time, .11 in third, and Edgewood coming in 3:51.80 here in the 400. And this one I'm pretty sure of. The 400, I believe, is so the 800 must be twice around the track. So the 400 is just one time around the track, and it's an all-out sprint, like the real deal. So yeah, the 800 is twice around the track. 400 is once around the track. I remember during my time in high school looking at the 400 as the most impossible race I've ever seen. I could not fathom an all-out sprint for an entire lap. But here are these kids who do it on a regular basis, and in the example of the 800 meter dash, they do it twice. I mean, these guys they're the modern gladiators, that's for sure. We're gonna head over here to the girls' high jump, and it's Geneva's Gabriella Winchell, the junior from Geneva, goes 4'8". I believe it's 4'8". No, maybe. It's 4'8". That's what I'm going to go with. I'll get better versed on this, I promise you guys. Carmia Boland from Geneva is going to go 4'4". And Hannah Brunel from Ashtabula Edgewood is going to tie with a bunch of people at 4'0" on the high jump. And this is the one here. So here we go to Bobby Rogers, or Robert Rogers, as he is listed on this list. The Grasshopper was the nickname we gave him because his leaping ability is unmatched. And here you go. Robert Rogers with a mark of 5'10", breaking his own school record in this one. Behind him is Eric Leda, another Grand Valley hopper, with a height of 5'6". And Elliot Jones from PV is going to come in third there with who ties for 5'6", and Blake Krasnerick from PV coming in fourth with 5'4", tied with Charlie Myers and Carrie White of Geneva and Lakeside, respectively. Girls pole vault, another one of these, another event that I marvel at because boy, when it goes wrong, it goes wrong. So these kids have, they have guts. Kelly Summers, who is a big friend of the show, I cannot express how much I appreciate her and all the things she does. I know that they love her out in PV because she does such a great job, but she's always been able to help us with the photography side and hooking us up with pictures and all those things. I very much appreciate you. Kelly Summers says 3,200 meter is mostly nut job cross country runners. They are, in fact, a different type of athlete. Those cross-country runners have a drive that I think is only challenged probably by wrestlers. Like you can't, they just never quit. They really don't. They're in the best shape of any human being you'll ever meet. So you're 100% right. That 3,200, that is the big kahuna. Here we go in the pole vault. It's Geneva's Ava Sartini, who is going to jump at the mark of 8-0. Lily Scheiman from Geneva, she's going to go with a mark of 7-0, and Peyton Corrigan from Ashtabula Edgewood with a mark of 6-0. And this could be like a memory bias, and I could be completely off here, but I feel like Geneva girls always have a high level pole vaulter. Like I feel like for the last couple of years, they just always have girls that are really good at the pole vault and really make their way all the way down into the state level. And it's not just this class, it's been for years and years and years. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I feel like that's what I can remember seeing. So many track stories coming out of that Geneva area. Outside, obviously you've got Connor Boland, but a lot of them are pole vaulters who go out there and make a big name for themselves. Over here on the boys' side of things, you got Conneaut's Alex Banish, who is the senior is going to have a mark of 10-6. Patrick McKinney from Geneva is going to go 10-0. Dylan Hyvick from Grand Valley with 9-9. And Dane Sepkowski, I believe. Shepkowski is how that's going to go with Geneva with a 9-6. Again, I know that I'm butchering that name. Please throw me a hand out here and tell me how to say that name because I hate butchering your guys' names. But whether I got your name right or not, you did a great job. Moving on here, we're going to go into the girls' long jump. And, imagine this, how surprised I am here when there's another Boyarsky jumping. This time it's Reagan, the sophomore Mustang, 15.4. Isabella Fix from Conneaut is going to go 14.0.50. Karamia Boland from Geneva, 13.10.50. And you're going to see why I'm saying imagine why there's another Boyarsky out there, because as Reagan Boyarsky, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say is the sister of this guy right here, Chef Boyarsky, Nathan Boyarsky, who goes out 17.10 for Grand Valley, and I believe that's another record for the school for him. Giovanni Rice from Geneva right behind him, 17.9. Alex Flack from Conneaut goes 17.1. And Devin Miller Jr., the freshman, 16.10.5. He ain't just fast. The young man can jump as well. I'm sure Coach Edwards loves to see that. Girls discus throw. This is another athlete from the area who has been incredibly impressive. Right over there from Edgewood. I have seen tons and tons of progress with this young lady. She's getting looks from all over the place. And that's Sarah Coxon over there at Edgewood, over there on the discus throw. These field events, we really, really have some big-time players in this realm here. Sarah Coxon being one of them. The senior over at Ashtabula Edgewood ends with a mark of 98.6. 98-6 with Taylor Wisnowski the junior, right? Coming in second there with 90-9. But again, she's only a junior, so Edgewood setting up, gold and silver. And Ella Hazler, the ninth grader from Geneva, with an 89-11. May Struna from PV is 86-5. And another Struna, I believe, is another one of those names in track that you just hear over there in PV. It's one of the cool things about doing this for, the time I've been doing it, is now I'm starting to see kind of these family names that make through, and these brothers and sisters who are competing in similar fashion. All right, on the boys' side here, and this is an interesting tidbit here. So Wade Woodworth, a phenomenal football player. Absolutely phenomenal football player. One of the better tacklers in the area. Not one of the better, probably the best tackler in the area. As far as the numbers said, that was for sure. Actually going to go to college on a track scholarship because, he has really found a niche there. And I do believe I believe he's going to Lake Erie to throw disc for them. Because he is really, really good, and right here is no different. Wade Woodworth, the Jefferson Falcons senior, with a mark on the discus throw of 138-9. Behind him is going to be another Jefferson Falcon, Josh Payne, 129-5, and Johnny Hazler from Geneva, 114-9. Mason Lomas is a sophomore from Geneva, 105-1. Girls shot put. Alyssa Palmasano from Geneva. If I'm saying the name right, hold on just a minute. I asked for input from track guys, and I got me a track guy. Coach Terry Henton. Boyarski is a 20-foot jumper. He has their record, but not yesterday. Bad conditions yesterday. Same with Rogers. He's a 6-foot jumper. He won yesterday, but times jumps were lower and shorter due to the conditions. So you know what, Coach? I believe you. And this is one of the things I talked about, actually, I believe on Monday's show, is it's crazy to me how the track in particular, where the movements are these intricate movements, and all these things can make the difference between a win, a loss, a personal record, a state record, a school record. It's interesting to me that track powers through this, because of all the sports, you almost need the perfect conditions, I would think. You know what I mean? To really test how fast are you? How high can you jump? How good are you at this? How good are you at that? It's almost unfair to make them compete in this, because, like you said, Boyarski's a 20-foot jumper. Rogers is a 6-foot jumper. These guys are their numbers don't reflect truly what they're doing, but shout out to the track athletes, shout out to the track coaches who probably thought they were going to get to wear t-shirts, but ended up having to wear parkas for most of this season. You guys are the real MVP. Alyssa Parmigiano with the girls shot put, 37-4.50. You got Sarah Coxon right here as well from Edgewood, 37-1.50, and May Struna from PV. She's a 31.10. Right behind her, Taylor Wisnowski from Edgewood, 31.1. So I don't know what the difference between .1 or -10 and -1 is, but I'm sure somebody will tell me sooner than later. Moving on here, and here's another name that has gotten plenty of talk about right here on the network. And I know that these two guys have a back and forth, a very friendly rivalry amongst each other. Mason Pulowski from Jefferson and Wade Woodworth coming in first and second here in the shot. Today is Mason's day, though. It's 48-3.50, and Wade Woodworth right behind him, 48-0. .50 or .50. Behind them, Grand Valley's Logan Martin, the senior, went 44-2, and Johnny Hazler from Geneva, the senior there, 42-3.25. It's time for the team scores, my friends. And your girls' team winner in this one is going to be the Geneva Eagles with a total score of 201. Edgewood coming in right behind them with 113.5. And PV behind them with 88. And Lakeside coming out there with 4 in fourth place with 70 points there for the girls' side. Heading over to the boys' side here. It's going to be Geneva on the top again. So it's a year of the Eagle at the county meet. They're going to go 154 points with Jefferson right behind them with 138. Ashtabula Edgewood is going to come in third in this one. 30 feet, 1/2 inch is written 30.05. Okay. Thanks, Coach. I love it. This is what I need. I need you guys to tell me what's going on out there. I like watching these track meets, but it's a lot like swimming. I have no idea what they're actually talking about with the terminology. I'm learning slowly but surely. Geneva, first place. Jefferson, second place. Edgewood, third, 86.5. And Conneaut going to come in fourth there with 81. Those were your track results from the all-county meet this year. And, as Coach Henton talked about, these numbers are great. These numbers are all great. Shout out to all these kids who went out there and competed in an absolutely dismal, terrible, awful, no good, terrible day. Went out there, ran, did their job. But I'm always interested to see what these kids will do on a good day. That's where it's I know indoor track has its own season. I know that, I believe it's during the fall during the winter. But it's I don't know if should you actually be running outdoors when it's junky like that, when the track is super wet and, it's like one of the comparisons when these all weather tracks first started coming out, and people were running on cinders. And you would talk about, well, this is their time on cinders and this is their time on all weather and all of these things. It's crazy to me that track is a sport that doesn't really have a standardization process. So went long again today, but that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes. I'm going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to end out the show as we prepare for some cool stuff coming up here. And like I said, I talked too much, so I'm going to keep going now. But I do want to remind you that the 440 Sports Show, we're still looking for sponsorships. We're still looking for advertisements. I'd love to get Ashtabula involved right here on your sports network. It's a great way to get your business or your product out there. With over almost 70 schools, you're going to get your product or your business in front of well over 70 demographics, all the way down from Akron, all the way to the top here at the lake. You're catching everybody in between. And not to be overlooked is the fact that you're also helping kids because we take all the money from sponsorship and advertisement, and that's what is moving. That is what is fueling the bus here. That's why we can do these morning shows. That's why we can do our daily shows, our broadcasts, go out there, do these awards, all-star games. All of those things are helped with people like you. So if you know somebody with a business or somebody, or you are somebody with a business, feel free to contact me on any of the social medias. You can go on ysnlive.com under advertisement, and you'll have all the options there. I'd love to get you involved on here so you can help us help them.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality.
All right, welcome back to the 440 Sports Show. Hey, Coach Terry. Another comment there. The kid from Geneva is a special talent. You all need to do a show on him. He's the best I've seen here in 20 years of coaching, 100, 200, 400. He's one of the best in the state. I agree with you. I've seen this kid's crazy numbers and all of his achievements that he has done. Right now, Geneva is the only one of the schools in the area that is not utilizing the free service we offer here at YSN. My fingers are crossed. That is something that is actively changing. I would love to give some more broadcast time and definitely some more love to these kids over at Geneva. But right now, we just don't have their school in our coverage area yet. Again, that's something that's changing. But I agree with you, Terry. Everything I've seen from Connor Boland is like next level stuff. Like this kid has been killing it for 2 years. So, and to hear that from you, or to hear that from a guy like Terry Henton, for those of you who don't know, Terry Henton is a college track athlete. Like he's a scholarship guy in track. So he's the real deal. One of the best hurdle coaches you'll ever meet in your life is Terry. So, he's very fast too. So he can get you a lot faster. So those are big words coming from a big guy in Terry. As we're getting ready to kind of close out this show, first of all, thanks for everybody for tuning in today and taking part in the show. I love it. All the comments, all of the participation. It was really fun for me to kind of get to dip my foot into track because these are athletes that work so very, very hard in a very much an undercovered sport. It's a very difficult sport to cover. So any shine I can provide to these kids, I would love to do it. I'd love to do it. Coming up tomorrow, we'll see what's on tap. I know that today that the clouds are starting to go away. We may have some baseball. We may have some softball going on. We'll see. You go to 21 Storm Tracker app. You don't have to like what it's saying, but it's going to be accurate. I can promise you that. They don't get to pick the weather. But check them out. They're going to give you a pretty accurate look at what's going on out there. We never know what's going on. Tomorrow I might try and dip my foot into some tennis. I know that we had some county tennis players going on right now. I don't know if their information is easily available as the track guys, but we'll see. But tomorrow there will be a show. It's Friday. So we'll see you then. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys very, very soon. This is Sam Torres from the 440 Sports Show, Ashtabula's only morning sports talk show. We'll see you guys soon. I'll see you tomorrow.
This for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they no defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.